All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here for the 1v1 between
What is this?
FY and Yang. It is MLP Dota and Danog. Danog, what is this? Jug vs Shadow Demon is apparently the matchup we're seeing here today. Seems pretty fair.
Yeah, seems very fair. I, see, I don't speak Chinese, and I honestly I don't know where exactly on. I assume it's Weibo that these sort of things are voted on. But it's normally like the teams choose who's playing, and then the public chooses which hero one of the players is playing. I think I don't know exactly how it works, but essentially you get these sort of odd matchups like the Shadow Demon v Juggernaut in the mid lane. So for anyone that is just tuning in, I'll just go over how this all works. So it's your standard 1v1 mid matchup, and the winner gets his team the pick choice priority. So basically, he gets to choose if he wants first or second pick, or if he wants Radiant or Dire side. We've seen a lot of teams really go for that pick priority as the main one they go for there. And essentially, first to get 2 kills wins, or if you destroy a tower, and if the game doesn't end in 10 minutes, the winner is decided by first and foremost the kill score, then net worth. If net worth is dead even, then it goes to last hits, then it goes to denies, and if somehow it's all even after all of that, then they toss a coin. So I think it's incredibly rare that we'll get that, but we'll see. I don't think you could pick up runes, and you can't jungle, but I think raindrops are allowed, or at least it was in the CDA league. I'm not sure about the the DPL-CDA league.
I'm sure it'll be the same. Like, they've just merged the leagues, essentially. I'm pretty sure they'll be exactly the same as they were. The matchups, however, so fair point, like that FY is a position 4 player and, Yang is a position 3. But Jug vs Shadow Demon, I don't know how Yang wins this matchup. Like, maybe with Shadow Poison spam? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. That's what you need. Although he's gone level 1 disruption for himself, so just trying to get some harass onto FY, maybe mind gaming him a bit, expecting that okay, well FY is going to use a lot of his net worth at least to start off on a magic stick, which he's right, and so not wanting to get these sort of things where he'll be spamming stuff out.
well, FY is definitely not very used to playing a core hero, though, so it'd be a question of whether he can actually really maximize, as he does actually eat a Tango and Branch very
Just going to
early
disrupt, secure that range. Yeah, he's playing it well.
on. FY going to try and be aggressive.
This is not the kind of matchup that you see every day, that's for sure.
I gotta say, I do love the fact that they've done this, though. Like, they force a 1v1 with community votes to see who gets the choice to choose first pick or whatever. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, something a little bit different. Variety is the spice of life, as they say.
At what point do you think FY just spins on Yang? Like, level 3? Do we just spin on Yang? Just say, screw it, let's go?
Well, you just need to bait out the disruption as well. You can do it after that, essentially. Or you might want to be saving it to dodge a lot of those shadow poison damage.
Oh, Yang.
They're going.
Doesn't commit Soul Catcher, he holds on. Surprisingly enough, Yang is doing very well in terms of last hits, considering his matchup. He's very even, 6-3 for now, make it 7-3.
Yeah. But when you think about it, right, it is arranged against a melee hero. You do need farm to do things as Juggernaut, and you do have the disruption to be able to just run away from any sort of Juggernaut Q. So, at least very early on, it should be Shadow Demon favored. We'll see if FY is able to secure these last hits out of the lane.
Yang is being very disruptive with disruption. Hasn't opted to use Soul Catcher yet, just holding out on that. Is going for multiple null talismans, which I suppose is very standard in a 1v1 matchup, where FY went for the wand Quelling Blade and just keeps bringing out tangos. Two very, very different kinds of builds here. FY, he's going to go for the spin now. Yang does have disruption anyway, so he'll be fine.
I think FY was just tired of getting disrupted and then denied or everything else by Yang here.
Does commit the healing ward as well, so you got to consider that is going to be on cooldown for a while.
And you don't want to lose it as well. Gives a good amount of gold, and every little, I guess you can call it cent, counts in this.
Oh, poor old Yang. Disruption again, trying to get that range creep deny, and he does get it. Very nice.
Very slight experience lead here on Yang as well, which is going to be really handy. Just to build up that... Well, actually, he's maxing out Disruption. Nothing in the Shadow Poison.
No, he doesn't.
So just going for this right-click build.
I guess the problem is FY could always spin the Shadow Poison off, right? So there's like no real point to it.
Yep. And then you've also got your ultimate eventually when you're level 6, and it does go through the ultimate, the spin on the Juggernaut. So it's going to be a good amount of damage coming out, and he's just biding his time and going for that quick burst at the very end. So expect to see him continue to level up the Soul Catcher, I reckon.
FY though, like with the Omni Slash as well, like he's really going to be careful about that disruption timing. As soon as disruption's down, he can go for the Omni Spin. And he's already got a Mango prepping for it seems. He's ready to go. Yang, and they're both just waiting for that 6 mark, and we should see fireworks once that hits. Should mention as well, in case the viewers weren't aware, FY is ahead in last hit so far by 3, which is to be expected. It is a jug.
Okay, so he's actually leveling up the Disruption, just continuing to harass out FY, wanting him to use all of his gold that he's got on region items, push him further down that net worth chart.
I'm starting to question whether going for the level and crit was a mistake from FY, because those illusions critting him do a lot of damage.
And as well, it makes it not quite as reliable for any sort of last hit battle in the mid lane. You always just want consistency.
As FY screwed himself over.
Nearly level 6 as well on this Disruptor, so I need to be mindful of that. And you can see FY, he's taken a few hits here.
Oof. Those crits, they really, really hurt. He's only got 1 Wraith Band as well. He's not exactly very tanky. He will salve up.
And just like that, Yang's taken a bit of a lead in terms of the net worth once again. Wonder if they'll fly out another Observer Ward for both of them.
Goes for the spin. Nice glyph coming out from Yang, though.
This is not good. He's going to hit his level 6 very shortly. 1 creep needs to die.
Oh, he may not even need it. He's going to make the chase, and yeah, there it is. 6 comes out. FY forces TP. I don't think it's enough. He's going to die in base.
Oh,
no.
Maybe not. Oh, he was on like 5 HP in base.
Well, as a smoke, needs to get back to the lane quick. But, you know, in these 1v1 matchups, like, Yang's going to have a 2-level advantage by the time he's back. That's borderline GG, right? Like, it's... Whoa.
Pretty significant, and he was standing outside the fountain, so wasn't getting the regen either. So, yeah, looking a little bit questionable for him. I'm really liking the way Yang's playing this.
Double Observer Wards as well. Just, I don't know why you put them in those positions, but he's put them there.
And they're in a perfect horizontal line, so when the arrow on the minimap is looking down, it kind of looks like a face, which is what I'm playing for, you know.
Yeah. Man, really just did. You know, the community probably thought when they chose Shadow Demon into Juggernaut, they thought there's no chance Yang wins this.
No,
Omni Slash comes out, just it does nothing.
You got no damage. Wonder if it'll ever get to the point where FY is just going to GG out.
I hope not. But he has only got about 3 minutes now. He's going to be a bit more aggressive than this.
He's in a rough spot right now. Oh, yeah. Maybe not. Doesn't have the mana to get the full combo off, I suppose. And yeah, there we go.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't the most explosive 1v1, but, you know, Yang got the advantage. FY is not a core player. And, well, you could kind of tell he's not exactly used to playing Jug. That's for sure.
I think it was just a real uphill battle with that lane setup. I don't think this means people should be picking Shadow Demon mid. You just need to be mindful of who you are up against as well, in terms of the hero, not the player. But yeah, it's going to be a really value pick priority selection that Vici are going to be able to bring into Game 1 of this best of 3 series. And we saw there, I think it did end up being that every single time, sorry, that a team had the pick priority, they won. So maybe it'll carry through to this one.
Should be a very interesting match. We will be going to that first game draft very, very soon. It's MLP Dota and Danog Dota. We'll see you guys again in hopefully just a few minutes.
I think it was the opposite in the last series. All 3 times, the team that had priority went for first pick. So we'll see how it works out for them.
A lot of pressure on LGD. You brought up the Kunkka. Does seem like it's a good fit here.
5 seconds
They've banned out the Huskar, so not wanting to get harassed, perhaps, in the lane.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Void
he
Spirit.
can build a vessel, and it's a lot of damage that goes through. Like, there's some burst damage there. You don't need a ton of farm. A lot of your damage is level-based, and you're not going to be punished by things like the Frost Shield. TA, it's a pretty rough matchup for the Void Spirit. No ways of just dealing burst damage to get rid of those refraction charges. I'm liking Vici's lineup here.
I agree. I don't see ways of dealing with the TA. The Morphling, sure, but you're going to need that Vessel up, and even then, it's still going to be hard. And, I mean, laning-wise, like, you look at that Centaur Tusk, we talked about it, you don't really win a lane against those two. I don't know how PSG.LGD even get online here to really be able to fight back up against what Vici's bringing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how LGD actually go about their lane setups as well. Just because the value of being able to, maybe even just for a short period of time, leave this Nature's Prophet on his own, so that you can get that imbalance in other lanes when he does eventually TP through and get the gank off. I suppose one thing that they do need to be very mindful of is pre-BKB on this Morphling. If you morph into the Gyro and start using the Flak Cannon, FY can then use the Spike Carapace to try and lock you down, even just for a brief moment. And that gives you that small little window that you need to try and turn things around. So it'll be on the supports then of Vici to be able to protect him and make sure that even if he does overextend a little bit, that he's not going to be punished too harshly.
Right. Well, the game should be starting very soon. I'm quite intrigued to see where this game leads us to. LGD, can they hold out and get the lead? I don't know. It seems like a lot of pressure on maybe on that Void Spirit, or rather Somnus, to really set his team up. But up against the TA, I just don't know how you do it.
Let me just have a look at what the record was when these two teams played against each other in the CDA League, so the precursor to this one.
Okay.
So it was LGD actually winning it 2-0.
Wow, okay.
Let me see if I can find what the actual picks were as well. It's one of the later games, ones that really mattered, so let's see. So the only two heroes in common out of the entire first game were TA and the Rubik on Vici. Completely different lineup for for LGD that they had in their first match. And for game number 2, they had the Nyx Morphling, and that's it. So only 4 heroes out of 20 are the same that were played in their most recent series against each other.
30 seconds to battle.
Artful death. First blood by an arbitrary definition.
And that's what we were lacking in the last series. Where were the tips? That's what I wanted to see.
Very, very true. Where were the tips in that last series? Who knows? PYW going to be able to pick up his bounty rune. They will get Eurus a bounty rune as well on the Morphling.
2 for 2. We're seeing this a lot more commonly. The boots on both of the position forwards, they're going to clash a little bit here. But FY just shrugs it off and walks away.
It's got great regen on the Nyx Assassin. Like, it's so hard to harass out a Nyx with this kind of base regen that he has.
Just enables you for staying out a lot longer. Might even buy up a couple of mangoes, just increase that regen even further.
FY gonna have to fight now with tag team up on PYW. We'll throw out an impale. I mean, they'll just reset. Like, it's not... Bit of a chase
He's
going
trying
on.
to snipe this courier. No, pulling the lane a little bit. Even half of it's pretty value.
Yeah. We'll grab it. PYW not going to really let him go without taking some serious punishment, though. But now his own creep blocks him up, so FY is going to get away with it.
Yep. Nice job by FY as well, making sure that that creep camp was being body blocked, so there's not going to be any stacking going on. And now pre-level 3, you want to make sure that you're harassing Eurus as much as possible, forcing him to last hit underneath the tower.
I'm kind of intrigued as well. They didn't really run the Tusk Centaur in the bot lane, but rather they choose DY and Yang on the Lich Centaur. And I guess it's still effective with Frost Shield once you do have it up to land a nice hoof stomp for yourself.
I guess. It doesn't really have the saving potential, though, with it. A lot of the damage coming out from LGD's lineup is magic, which Frost Shield only physical that it blocks against.
PYW could always make those rotations anyway. Like, it seems like he's just trying to give the best start possible to Eurus first, and well, Eurus is having a very nice time. But his equilibrium with the creep wave may be kind of screwed over now. As they have changed it up quite a bit thanks to FY in that pool. Yeah, he's going to be forced to farm very close to the enemy tier 1.
Nicely done there. Mid lane going pretty well for Somnus, it has to be said. Taking a small lead over Ori, but I feel like Ori's going to be able to come back now that he's hit on to his level 3.
Definitely should be able to, right? Like, level 2 refraction. Somnus still trying to apply that pressure. And, well, he'll keep up with the last hits. Aether Remnant even being thrown out as the refraction will wear off, but will be to no good.
That's a fancy looking courier that Chalice has, just walking back through the Radiant jungle.
That is nice, isn't it? What is that?
It's probably some extremely rare Ultra Immortal.
Why is it always the pro plays that have those? I don't
You
have
got
one of
fans,
those.
they just send you stuff, you know?
True. I always thought Valve would just give it to them for free, kind of thing, but...
Come on, man.
Yeah. I thought about it, I'm like, well, it's Valve. I don't know about that. PYW still fighting around with FY. Bot lane, however, they are getting a little bit aggressive. DY with the Frost Shield. But it does seem as though Yang just wants to farm in peace on the Centaur. Doesn't really want to make too many aggressive moves right now. Well, X-Nova actually doing a lot of damage with those Shadow Poisons.
Doesn't even have any magic stick right now here on Yang, just relying on the Ring of Health and the regen, and eventually he's going to finish up that hood.
There's a lot of value in that stick, though. Guess he just doesn't care for it. X-Nova really taking advantage of that as he tries to go for a pull, won't really make it. Mid lane. FY shows up against Ori, but doesn't really find the angle for an impale, so we'll just kind of back out.
And they've left top just alone for now. Old 11 having to TP back, he's going to TP straight into this lane. Needs to be a little careful though.
Yeah, PYW, he has snowballed if he needs it. Old 11 just going to run, and they won't actually dive for it. They'll just leave him be. Old 11 gets a nice little auto attack in on the way out. And looks like FY again going to just run back up top as the Nyx Assassin. And so not really, all these kind of rotations happening aren't really amounting to anything from any lane. And again, we see the same thing as the start of the game where FY and PYW meet up, hit each other for a bit. This time they'll get banner runes for themselves.
X-Nova again doing a lot of damage to Yang. 500 with all those Shadow Poison stacks.
But he's just healing through it.
Yeah.
Just 19.5 regen with Tango active. Homing
Alright, here we
missile
go.
though. Disruption.
Flick gets away.
Bot lane, I can't say the same for Yang, or maybe Yang, he's going to move forward. X-Nova falls low on the Shadow Demon. But again, they just play very cautiously. And neither team's really able to finish off each other. They're just happy to farm.
And neither team is playing, like, really excellently or poorly. That's the thing. Like, it's just very much a stalemate. In the first game that we cast today, I felt like CDC were really impressing me with how they were going about things. And even though there were only, like, 4 kills in the first 10 or so minutes, it just felt like there was a ton of stuff happening around the map and they were doing things really well. But this time around, a little bit different. Although mid lane, they might be looking to go here onto Ori.
Somnus, nice Aether Remnant, but Ori just hits so hard. It's way too scary for Somnus to make that jump. Well, at least Ori, out of mana now, just going to have to keep farming up. But we do see more rotations now. X-Nova shows his face. But, oh, they pop a haste. Well, his haste does wear off. Ori going to get jumped here. Astral Step with the Aether Remnant locking him down. FY, can you get an Impale? Well, of course you can. It was all set up, and he actually finds a double Impale to TY as he TPs in. Do they want to go for the Lich now? They do have Astral Step, and they do have Aether Remnant, but the Remnant doesn't connect, and that should be the end of that. Somnus will not dive any deeper.
It was a good attempt, and worth the extra commitment onto it, making sure that these creeps are getting hit by the tower as well, denying them as much as they can, but good presence of mind by DY to make sure that experience doesn't go completely unobtained.
Well, maybe bot lane Yang could be in trouble. Homing Missile does already connect, but he's got 4 heroes surrounding him. X-Nova will get the disruption off, and FY won't even need to impale. The Aether Remnant from Somnus is more than enough.
Nice job this here by LGD, making the early rotations count. Taking what has to be said a little bit of a net worth lead, especially in this mid lane. Been played really well here by Maybe. He's looking to get aggressive as well. He realizes that he's got that slight lead, a bit behind in the levels just because he's been out of the lane for a little while. Trying to make something happen, pick off the TA while she was taking some of these camps.
Yeah, she won't find it. Somnus rather won't find it. Well, FY could be in trouble. He will run straight into PYW. He gets a very nice shards off. Spike Carapace, though, will stop them from pursuing any further. And, well, it's going to be a 3-0. But bot lane, Somnus is still rotating. He has a double damage rune now. He wants to try onto Yang. Astral
Been out of
Step.
this lane for a long time.
The Aether Remnant connects, but now a lot of rotations onto Somnus, who will Astral Step away, but the Snowball's going to come in, and he's in big, big trouble. Disruption's there on the Tusk, but Somnus dies anyway. Now Old 11 rotates down as the Nature's Prophet. But it won't matter. Just a weird rotation to try and go for on a Centaur of all things.
Yeah, huge loss for them. Ori caught underneath the tower, tanking some hits, but he's happy to get all of this experience while it's been... feels like it's been like nearly a minute and a half where he's been sitting just below this level 7 mark on the Void Spirit.
Well, PYW. Shards will fly through, trying to get FY.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Somnus does finally return back into that mid lane. But you talked about it, like he's out-leveled now by about 1.5 levels from Ori. This TA has been farming very, very decently, though he is still fairly behind that Void Spirit. So Somnus has somehow maintained his net worth, even though he is walking across the map constantly.
Yeah, gonna find out this TA.
Disruption. X-Nova going to be there. Now Ori, he gets a Stampede. He does place a trap as PYW going to run through. I'm not sure what the play is here. They bring DY as well as Yang now. Everyone joining this team fight. Maybe misses the Remnant. Old 11 getting very low as a 3-man hoof stop coming out from Yang. And now the call down from Chalice. Cleaning up, but it's not enough. All his teammates have really just fallen. He's by himself now as Maybe jumps back into this team fight. But can he help? Rocket Barrage, not going to be enough. Yang, he picks up a triple kill.
The Yang gang just too strong. That's all it is.
Middle tower
He got a 3-man hoof stomp and all that. Like, it was just... Now Ori. Fine Somnus. Astral Step is available. He should be fine. He wants to just hold on to it though, as Ori's just beating into him. And now the snowball going to fly through. They will eventually force him to use it. As FY now. Vendetta up. Uses it onto the TA. Refraction was available though, so it deals no damage. Now Chalice going to move in. It's just a complete, it's just a brawl in this mid lane. Neither team wanting to back out. Shards saving the TA, or maybe it doesn't. Aether Remnant is going to be there to connect, and now Ori does go down. PYW going to be the next target, or maybe, or perhaps he's the target. He does try and avoid the snowball. It eventually connects, but PYW does die to the Remnant of Somnus.
Radiant structures are fortified.
What is happening?
Some questionable Dota is all you have to say. Like, just staying too far past their welcome, and
What
now,
a Remnant. Yang getting caught out. He was underneath an observer ward. But it was his own ward. I don't believe they actually saw him.
The thing is, there is a purpose to all of this attention being focused towards the mid lane as opposed to the Morphling, but it just feels unnecessary. The
Are fortified.
how deep they're putting themselves.
I'd agree.
Because that's
But,
the thing
the-
with Dota. Like, at this level, especially with two teams of this caliber, they're not going to be
Dire's
just giving things up for free, basically. Like, you're not just going to be able to sit in a lane and farm. There needs to be a trade-off that comes with that. It's just about minimizing the downsides of that trade-off. And
FY.
top tower
yeah.
has fallen.
Vendetta. Sentry
spotted
has
him.
been dropped, but he will run out of range. No dust.
Bottom tower
They'll place another sentry. He does get gazed now with the snowball. Spike Carapace going to be there. FY is still trying to run, but Chance is going to trap him in. But that's 4 heroes' time he just used up to really die there.
You can see starting to come back now with Somnus. Put himself in a positive spot again. He's going for this Blade Mail build, which I really do like, especially if you're going this style of being that frontliner, being that space creator. It acts as kind of a pseudo-taunt, because you want to kill him when he's going in really deep, but then you're able to turn it around and actually dish out even more damage, especially when you've got a Shadow Demon on your side. So you can, if they go in onto you and you're getting too low, just get that save off.
You can really start to see the effects of what LGD have done as well. Vici just sticking as 4 in their own triangle, just making sure they don't get dived again. And speaking of diving, LGD, they smoke up. Ready to go once again. They're not done. No Vendetta up on FY, but they don't seem to care as there's sentries everywhere anyway. And it looks like they are going to run into Yang. Pings come out. FY spots him.
are scattered.
Prophet, TP's in the tree line, old 11, can't actually get a Sprout off in time, but it doesn't matter. Somnus is the one to initiate. TP's in from PYW, but he's been disrupted up and he should just die here. Sprout, he has Snowball.
Space
Somnus
created.
connects the Aether Remnant. Snowball will come out. Do you think this is actually space? Like, you've lost 2 heroes for that, but I guess Eurus is still free farming? That's the idea here?
Yeah, that is the idea. Nearly got X-Nova with that Walrus Punch right at the end there, and with the glyph on the tower, it might have, if it chose to attack him, taken him out. DY, nicely done. To be able to repel this up.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I think it's worth it. Like,
Okay.
it's a lot of attention taken off them, and when you think about the odd team fights that they took, it's really just about Ori and
What a bait. X-Nova baiting them in. Stampede there. Is it going to be enough? Chalice, rocket barraging, or maybe it wasn't a bait. Vici, they win out the team fight quite easily.
yeah.
And
That's the
Okay.
thing, you know, you just need that time to pick up the things like the Yasha, for example. Suddenly Eurus is a lot more effective. We can see there, he was able to get off the morph, so he's going to be farming up really easily.
I mean, this kind of like aggression that we've been seeing from LGD, do you think it's the fact that they may have been outdrafted a little bit? Because it just doesn't make sense to just push this far forward. But when you look at Vici Gaming's draft, because they have the Morphling and the TA, perhaps LGD just don't think they're going to be able to go up against these heroes later on.
I think they can go aggressive just because of the style that they've gone, their item builds. You know, going into this Urn of Shadows, you want to be getting kills with a Void Spirit. You have these big power spikes around this level 10 mark. Gyrocopter as well, very, very strong, even though he's a bit less brawly, a bit more farm oriented. You're still very capable of taking these team fights, and yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's just a case of maybe overstaying their welcome a little bit.
Okay. Well, Somnus now, he does have the Blade Mail up, so maybe we see even more coming out from LGD. Vici Gaming has proven a point. They're not to be messed with right now, and Eurus is going straight into a BKB up next on the Morphling, so he really just knows if they're going to keep being aggressive like this, I may as well be prepared with an early BKB timing. And, Lich getting caught out. The disruption is going to be there onto DY, though. Warriors punching now. The Chain Frost bounces down onto FY, which is rather unfortunate. Old 11 does go down as well as DY. Now a snowball back into FY. They stampede Dust and just run the hell away.
Yeah, I'm really liking that combo that came out of Vici there, making sure that you got the shotgun blast off, you're able to take out the Nature's Prophet, and then the snowball comes after he starts morphing back into strength. So even if they were to follow up on him afterwards, it's not going to have too huge of an effect.
Well, PYW may have overstayed his welcome, though. Does eventually get caught out by FY and Somnus. And, well, they found something for their trouble, I suppose. In that time, Yang has picked up a Blink Dagger now on the Centaur. So, we do see an immediate smoke coming out from Vici Gaming.
We do. They try and maybe catch out Chalice here, who's farming in the mid lane, and he's getting a lot closer to his Aghanim Scepter. So, I wonder what he's going to go afterwards. Is he going to focus on the damage? Is he going to focus on sustaining himself through whether it be the Maelstrom or some sort of lifesteal?
They're going to avoid Chalice for now. DY, his smoke does break Chalice. He spots this out. Yang is right behind. Cooldown is going to be there.
Hit.
Yeah, it is. Yang, he jumps into the cooldown and doesn't get the hoof stomp he wanted. Old 11 jumps in. Spirit Vessel is up on the Prophet now, so they can definitely burst down this Centaur. And Yang, he will end up eventually dying as DY also goes down, and now the Remnant didn't really connect on Ori. He's trying to outrun them, but that Vessel ticking him away. Now Eurus is also there, but you can't afford to fight this right now, so he just wants to run, morphs into the Void Spirit and avoids all the damage, but they found the TA.
Really odd team fight there by Vici Gaming. You knew that they you didn't have too much vision. Like, this Observer Ward is nice, but at nighttime you want much more than that. And you knew that the Gyrocopter had just used his ultimate, so it's 90 seconds where you don't have it. Just go back, rinse off, and repeat, and suddenly have an advantage. But they just were in two minds, it seemed, about how they wanted to go about that one.
Vici now may just have to rethink the way they play this this game. These core items being up on LGD make it really hard as well to really fight into them. But that Spirit Vessel doing so much work already in that last team fight.
Yeah, and now you've got this Ag Scepter finished up on Chalice, and he's opting to go for the BKB. So realizing that Vici, they're going to hit their timing soon as well, so he wants to make sure that he's able to contest the fight. And now he's got a lot more damage coming through with that Ags finished up.
Vici not willing to try and contest LGD in their own jungle right now. Gonna leave them be. There is a 3-man rotation going down towards that mid lane, but you see LGD immediately kind of posturing around that area. But instead, they're going to TP up top. They'll go after a tier 2 tower, and this should be a positive trade. Vici Gaming, they're not in a position to try and find the counter trade.
Yeah, liking this efficiency as well, making sure that standing in range, he's able to farm up this neutral camp at the same time as taking a tower. Go on to Roche, okay. So, I'm liking this timing. They've got their ultimates back off cooldown. Interesting that Chalice opted to go for the Windlace, so it's clear that he's going to be focusing a lot on farming and wanting to maximize his movement between the neutral camps. Maybe create some space for his team to farm in a safer spot in the lane.
Why not?
Good positioning
GG
here by FY.
They're going to try and fight. FY is on the front lines ready to go. He is underneath the sentry, or his own sentry ward. And they will get the Aegis. Chalice, he picks it up. Gaze is going to be there on FY with the Chain Frost. It's really not going to matter. Does a bit of damage, but the Lich will die.
Yeah. And that's the thing with these teams that are, you know, relatively even from an overall skill standpoint. Sometimes there are just matchups that work better for your team than others. You know, we've seen plenty of times where it was way back at like the TI3 days where Alliance were unstoppable, and Fnatic, who was still an alright team, just seemed to be able to take games off them where no one else could. So it might be a similar sort of thing with LGD coming up against Vici.
Does feel that way right now.
Radiant's bottom
Should note though,
tower is
Eurus
under
does have that 10-second BKB charge up and running, so perhaps that'll be the difference maker in these near future engagements. You've also got the Deso and Ori. So some big items coming up. LGD, they may have to be a little bit careful about how they position themselves now. Oh, an immediate smoke.
The smoke, I would like it a lot more if FY took this shrine as well, because right now with the ward vision that we've got, Chalice is playing very much blind. He's got FY to back him up a little bit. You can see here as he's capping it, he wants to make sure that he's got some level of safety, but it's all visions on the top side of the map for LGD, which, I don't know, I feel like it should be more towards bot. There's no objectives there to take anymore, no Roche, no tier 2 towers, it's all about mid and bot at this point. You can have the Prophet sitting up on this top side, just keeping the wave pushed out, making sure that Vici is not getting massive value, that's not able to take a tier 1 tower in response, because you can just easily TP down and join the rest of your team.
Dire's bottom
Vici
tower
Gaming
is under attack.
just grouped up. They are going to start TPing top to try and defend this bottom tier 2 tower. Chalice will stand his ground for now. Looks like that'll be it for LGD. They force the rotations. They back out again.
And that's the thing, you know, Old 11, he can just sit up here, continue to extend their lead, and become much more of a reliable core than Yang. Yang needs to fully commit if he's ever to join any team fight.
So mid lane, Somnus, he'll get out. I thought they were going to make the jump onto the Void Spirit, but Vici Gaming, they're just wasting a lot of time running around the map, just not getting anything.
And as well, he's nearly finished up that Aghanim Scepter. It's coming out to him now, so big power spike. Level 15, Resonant Pulse has an extra 100 damage. Now as well, you're going to have that silence, which is really beneficial against people like Morphling, like the TA.
Oh, FY. Bot lane, he found Ori, gets the Fissure with the Meteor Hammer coming through, and that's going to be a long stun duration. Chain Frost is there, Ori, he is still melting, though he does get a bit of a heal up, but it will not be enough. He does get taken down on DY, he was right behind trying to help out, but he's going down as well.
He just accepted his fate, just stopped moving, he's like, well, I'm done.
Yeah. Let him kill me. And although Eurus is still top of the net worth board on the Morphling, it just doesn't seem to matter at all, as LGD is starting to force down tier 3s now.
Yeah, it's got to transition into something, and without that BKB finished up, or sorry, the Manta style, he becomes a lot more vulnerable to this Spirit Vessel.
Stampede can come through, Yang does get silenced up by Somnus. Call down even there, just to kind of zone them out it seems. And Chalice will continue hitting away at that tier 3. He does still hold the Aegis. Astral Step from Somnus gets the Remnant onto Eurus. He will survive for now, but it's so much damage as PYW does die. Now Eurus comes in with that flat cannon of his own, but he's really not doing too much with it. Yang, he'll jump in with a hoof stomp onto X-Nova, and they do find that kill. Now, can they find the Gyrocopter a second time? Not quite, as Somnus jumps in again. Snowball save onto Yang, or rather the Morphling. Eurus, he will be able to waveform away. Chalice does get stunned up. They do find him a second time. Old 11 not done. He wants DY, but he won't be able to get that kill as FY. Nice spy. Carapace with the double impale and the Remnant. They do kill off Yang. Ori is slowly ticking away. A very prolonged team fight going on. And Somnus jumps in with a beautiful Resonant Pulse and just cleans up too. And they are going to find the racks.
I mean, PYW's been playing this really well, but that decision right at the end there to include him inside the snowball was just signed his death warrant. Some really good plays coming through from both sides. Vici able to somewhat defend their high ground, but yeah, again, until they finish up this Manta Star, well, actually, he straight up abandoned it. He's, Eurus is saying, I'm going to Rapier. This is how we're going to come back into this.
Rapier plus Flak Cannon. I guess that's the, are they really that, well, they are far behind, and they know it too, apparently. Like, they're 10k net worth behind. I didn't think we'd gone that far yet. I suppose Divine's the only way?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't use any buybacks on LGD. That would be a potential comeback condition. And really, they're only going to get stronger. Oh man, getting the Orb of Destruction as well, such value.
That's very nice. He'll hold it for now. Keep the Aquila.
Dire are scanning.
Maybe they even just give it to Somnus.
Could.
Not that Somnus really needs it anyway, like his damage output is insane.
FY is just farming up neutral camps with a Meteor Hammer while the die is sitting just to his right. That's when you know you're confident.
Why not, right? Like he's going for a Yule Scepter and an Aghanim Scepter straight after that. It's not very often you get to see FY going for these very, very, like, you know, these real core items. But he can afford
Maybe
to.
his Rubik.
Well, his Rubik is, you know, another level. Yang jumps. Somnus jumps in. Aetherium does connect. Yang is in big, big trouble. And with that Spirit Vessel, he just can't survive. It's PYW now.
Can't
Gets
stampede away from that.
Nope. They definitely can't. They'll try and turn, but the cooldown is going to be there. PYW getting very low. They do buy back on Yang. Stampede is popped, and Eurus jumps in with Flak Cannon. FY does go down, and now Somnus. He's a big kill. They do eventually find him. And LGD, they need to get the hell out of here. As Eurus is on a double, they are. Chalice gets close to going down, but not quite. And Old 11 will also be able to TP out in time.
EU buyback coming through. The only thing going wrong for them is poor PYW getting chased by the missile and being picked off before he hits the fountain. Even the Stampede, not enough to save him, but they hold the high ground. It's still a 10k net worth lead, but slowly starting to tip back down in terms of the win probability.
And perhaps, you know, maybe that Divine Rapier is going to make all the difference. Like, if Eurus can really just get that space to Flak Cannon everyone with a Divine Rapier, it's not exactly like these LGD heroes are really tanky. Quite frankly, they're not. They're quite squishy. So it's seems like the play. If you can win a team fight like that, you can definitely win with a Divine, and he does buy the Sacred Relic. He's not kidding around.
Yeah, and they've got a ton of minus armor now especially, so getting a bit of luck themselves with the Orb of Destruction sitting on the TA right now. So she'll look to get her level 20, maybe even go for the additional -4 meld armor reduction.
My goodness. It's a lot of minus armor, but DY again almost dying. Old 11, gonna TP out in time, he'll be fine. Meanwhile, LGD smoked up.
I feel like maybe he's gonna go into the meld dispels. It's such value against the Soul Catcher.
Impale going to be there from FY. Snowball going to be there just in time from PYW, and they roll back in onto FY. Meld Strike dodged with Disruption. Now Cooldown coming through, but everyone avoids that as well. Yang falling low, but they do find X-Nova first, as Flak Cannon charges do fly out from Eurus. And he is going to chase down FY. Meanwhile, Chalice getting PYW. Eurus does eventually finish off the Nyx Assassin, but they are done. LGD again just moving forward, and they are eventually going to take down Ori, and now DY, the poor Lich, he's been left alone. He gets Sprout blocked, and he is dead. A triple kill for Chalice.
Yeah, it was a heavy commitment just to take down this Nyx Assassin, and in the meantime, look what's happening to your team.
Yeah, Somnus with the Aetherium holding everyone down. Chalice does die, though. That is a huge death to have. But if Eurus dies as well, it's even bigger.
No buyback.
Aether Remnant, silence, and yeah, he's dead. This game could be over. Chalice is very happy with what he's seeing, as Somnus still looking for a way to jump onto Yang. They are at least going to find one Rax out of this, right? Like, they're not going to back off.
I don't think so. When you've got this Nature's Prophet, I think you've always got the potential to be able to take this down. They've got a solid 20 seconds. Bare minimum, they'll get this tower. Repair kit, though, might come in handy. It'll
It's
force them
always
to commit.
the most annoying neutral item in Dota. That damn repair kit. And
Thankfully,
yeah,
got nerfed a bit.
it still seems to do pretty well, though. It's
Yeah.
still going strong.
That Crimson Guard's going to come in real handy against this Morphling, especially considering the gyrocopter morph that he's been targeting.
Yeah, old
Stop
11
a lot of those.
does buy it out. How's our Divine Rapier timing going? He's got 840 gold right now, so he's not too far off.
It's alright. I mean, waveform attacking targets is super value when you've got that Divine as well.
Of course.
Dire's top tower is under
Oh, but
They-
a nice Roche respawn timer for LGD if they were looking to take it, although seems like Vici know what's happening.
LGD, they will smoke up.
our scan.
Do they go back into the Roche?
Okay, so
No.
they've gone for the meld armor reduction as well. Oh, they
Okay.
spotted out that smoke. They saw it.
That's big. They've got the high ground. FY, it's going to break the smoke and gets an impale off onto at least Yang. Now the call down as well. They blow up PYW. You haven't got that Tusk save anymore. And with that Yang getting caught by the Yules, they want to go after Ori though. That's their main target is Eurus. We'll jump in with the flat cannon again. But Ori's falling way too low. He got FY, but he's going to lose his own life as Chalice. Is getting fairly low himself, but he gets disarmed. He will adaptive strike, but at the cost of his own life it seems. He waveforms away, but Sprout is perfect from old 11 as Somnus
Huge.
will jump in. They clean him up. No buybacks available on the TA or the Morph. And there's the tip from FY. Beat me
Oh,
in a
poor
1v1, he says.
Yeah, poor Yang. He actually was really on point with where he wanted to blink in and stop the aggression coming onto that Morphling, but blinked right into a Void Remnant. And well, it meant he wasn't able to save his core, and great heads-up play coming there from Maybe to predict what was going to be coming.
A great game as well. I mean, I'm going to admit, I completely doubted the draft, right? I every time I watch a gyrocopter, Danog, it always loses. But LGD, they made the draft work. I love what I saw. And that aggression, I mean, I haven't seen that from LGD for a very long time.
That's what we
I
like
love
to
it.
see. I mean, Chinese Dota, 53 kills in 32 minutes. I'm happy if that continues.
Absolutely. And hopefully it does, as we are going to go into the Game 2 draft in about 5 to 10 minutes. It is MLP Dota and Danog Dota. We'll see you all again very, very soon.